I'd like to move to another group who are probably worthy of your critique, and this is the Europeans. How do you see the sovereign debt crisis playing out? Is the deal that we've seen with Ireland going to work? Is it all over?
No. The idea that you can prop Ireland up is not good for Ireland. Why should poor, innocent Irish taxpayers suddenly be on the hook for the Irish banks who made the mistakes in the first place? Suddenly, poor Irish innocent taxpayers are going to be paying off bondholders of banks and stockholders of banks. That is unbelievable morality. What kind of morality is that? And second of all, it's bad economics. Let them fail. They made the mistakes, let them fail. When I make a mistake, I can't call somebody up and say, come and bail me out. And the Irish shouldn't either. The Irish should go bankrupt. They are bankrupt. Let those banks go bankrupt. Start over, just as Russia did. Russia and Korea and Chile did it once before.
Argentina?
Lots of people have taken the lumps, gone bankrupt, and started over. And usually, Scandinavia did it in the early 90s. Then they usually have had a 10, 15-year very, very good period. The Japanese tried it the other way. They refused to let anybody go bankrupt, and so for 20 years they've had 2 lost decades now. You remember the zombie banks and the zombie companies? We're doing the same thing. We're going to have another lost decade or 2.
If Ireland took such drastic measures, though, would that be tolerable to the other Europeans, particularly the Germans and the French? I mean, wouldn't their banks suffer, and isn't that part of the story? Remember what an outcry there was when Iceland took that route.
Iceland went bankrupt, yes. And you know what's happening in Iceland now? They're booming. I mean, Iceland's having a wonderful time. Iceland's got one of the most vibrant economies in the world right now. When you're bankrupt, you're bankrupt. You can lie about it, you can paper it over, you can do whatever you want to. But it doesn't do any good. It just drags out the pain and makes it worse, as the Japanese have found out. I've just cited several examples of countries which took the pain, started over, and have had a terrific time. The one country which did it the other way, Japan, is still suffering. We're going to still be suffering too in 10 or 20 years. And the Irish will be suffering too if they do it this way. And to the EU, I mean, Ireland's got 4 million people. The EU has several 100 million people. It's not very significant in the big scheme of things.
Are we going to see a domino effect? Mm-hmm. Are we going to see Portugal, Spain,
they're all going
Italy?
To be, well, the way they're going right now, they're all going to be bailed out, which is not going to make the system better either. They're corroding the value of the euro, and they're corroding the value of the European community. Now, I own the euro, don't get me wrong. I own the euro as we speak. But this is doing long-term destruction to the euro. I don't expect the euro to be around in 10 or 15 years, and part of the reason is because they keep doing things like this and destroying the value of the euro.
So how is that scenario going to play out?
Their scenario, the way they're doing,
the euro is not going to be around in 10 years. How's that going to happen?
They're going to keep propping people up.
Who falls next? Who needs to be propped up next?
Well, who next? They all do. Greece. I mean, you should go to Thomson Reuters and punch in, and you will see that Greece, Portugal,
the answer to everything. I love this.
Belgium, lots of countries in the southern part of Europe especially have made serious mistakes over the past 20, 25 years, and they now are sitting there saying, save us, save us, save us. The way it will, and apparently they're going to be saved, the way it will work out, eventually some politician's going to say, you know, we're all really good people here. Our problems only come from Brussels and come from the euro. And either he's going to pull out or Brussels is going to give him concessions, which they're doing now. And either way, you destroy the euro from within, and eventually people do pull out or get thrown out. One of the two, and it ends the euro. No currency union in history has ever worked. This is not the first time people have tried currency unions, I assure you. None of them have ever worked.
And what's your time? Well, the United States, you could describe as a currency union.
Well, you could
it's
describe...
still kind of working. It's a pretty good country.
Well, we'll discuss whether it's working, too. We started discussing that before, whether it's going to continue to work. That was a little bit different. It was where a single currency was imposed upon a single economy with a single government, which is one reason it worked. That's not quite what I consider a currency union. But yes, it's worked, and we'll see if it continues to work.
On your European endgame, when do you see this really extreme scenario of the euro actually falling apart? Is that a 10-year time horizon?
What's extreme about it? None of them have ever worked in history.
Okay, when's it going to happen?
Oh, I said
this modest scenario.
Within the next decade, it could happen sooner. It could well happen sooner, depending on how the world evolves. But certainly, with 10 years, there won't be a euro anymore. Now,
so why do you own them now?
I was going to say, I own the euro. Don't think I'm sitting here saying to sell your euros, because I hope you don't sell your euros. I own it now because there was so much pessimism last summer. Everybody was horribly pessimistic. They were dumping the euro.
You don't sound like a big cheerleader right now yourself, though.
No, I think it's going to survive because they're going to bail each other out and smooth everything over, and then eventually the problems will come to the fore again. Now, just because I own the euro does not mean I'm right. Oh, I've lost plenty of money in my life. I've been on the wrong side of trades often, but I happen to, at the moment, I own it because I think that they will smooth it over. Everything will look okay for a while. The euro will seem sound. It'll go up or not go down anymore. And someday I'll have to sell, yes.
Can you foresee when that might happen?
No, I wish I was smart enough to know that. I mean, you know, there are lots of people who you interview on your Thomson Reuters every day who can tell you exactly what's going to happen and when. I'm the world's worst market timer. I'm a horrible, horrible short-term trader, so I'm not any good at it. I just sort of watch and see how things evolve, and eventually I reverse my position if I think I should.